have an impact in a very quick way. So we can go to the next slide. The other way folks can get engaged is by doing some work with traditional media here. And I think op-eds and letters to the editor could be really timely right now. So for those who might not be familiar with the sort of op-ed format, this is basically where you just put forward an argument in a sort of catchy, crisp, quick way. It's usually about 400 to 500 words, so it's not a lot of writing to do. But you can actually use this tool that's on the right there on our website. If you punch in your zip code there, it will connect you to all of the different media outlets in your area. So if you wrote an op-ed, it would show you, where you could submit this to get it published in a local paper, a city paper, or something at the state or regional level. So all of these resources are available to you. For those who might not be familiar, letter to the editor is a much shorter piece, usually less than 200 words in response to an article that has already been published. So if there was, some issue out there relating to health, you could very easily bridge that back to rare diseases, back to 21st century cures, and do really important work in raising awareness about the bill to people who, probably aren't thinking about this on a day-to-day basis. So there's a lot of work we can be doing with media here. Go to the next slide. So that's just a few ways to get engaged. If you guys have any questions about that, or if you need any support in terms of drafting op-eds or letters to the editor, feel free to email me. But I think right now, if folks have questions, please, send it in via chat, or I think is the line open, Andy, for questions? Not yet. Okay.
All right, I'm going to open up the line right now, so if anybody has any questions whatsoever, feel free to talk and speak into the phone. I'm going to unmute everybody.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead. Introduce your name, please.
Hi, this is Steve Smith. Hi, everybody from the MPS community. I heard that tomorrow at the end of the business day is the close, and I think I heard it's for asking for co-sponsorship from your member of the House. Is that correct? And is there some close on asking them to vote other than the voting day? Want to make sure everyone gets their messages out on time.
At the end of business today, National Health Council, they're closing their support letter for patient groups. Tomorrow in the House, probably by close of business around 1:30, 2 o'clock p.m., we're hoping to file our committee report for 21st Century Cures. So once that happens, the co-sponsorships, that closes. So if you guys just, a lot of groups have been sending out action alerts to all their grassroots, asking them to call member offices and encourage them to co-sponsor H.R. 6 before it closes tomorrow. So that's the schedule for that. I hope that clarifies.
Thank you. Yes.
And Steve, Julia with the Every Life Foundation, just wanted to add that the foundation will be sending out an action alert next week to remind us all before the vote to ask their member to vote yes on the bill as well. So all of you on the line likely are connected to us via email, and you'll be getting that action alert. We obviously ask you to share it with all of your contacts as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Julia. All right.
I have, Andy, I'm sorry, I know you're trying to keep going. I have one comment I needed to share with everybody. I was in a big forum today at the Drug Industry Association show in which Janet Woodcock presented along with Clay Alsbach. Clay Alsbach is from Fred Upton's office in 21st Century Cures. And Janet Woodcock said some very nice things about 21st Century Cures in support of it. And so I asked a clarifying question because there were a couple of out in left field articles in the press cautioning that there might be a safety issue with 21st Century Cures, and Janet Woodcock made it very clear there is no safety issue with 21st Century Cures. They've ironed that out. The safety and efficacy standard is not going to be lowered. The FDA retains discretion, but it's a good bill and we need to pass it now. And that's what she said. So I just want you all to know that if anybody's asking you questions and has some doubt, there should be no doubt. It's time to pass the bill, and the FDA does not disagree.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Along that information, that's pretty crucial to address some of the points that are out there in the media. So we really appreciate that. Are there any other comments or questions out on the line? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move forward. So with us on the line today, we have Matthew Richardson from the Office of Senator Orrin Hatch. Matthew, are you there?
I am, yes.
All right.
Good to be with you all today.
Thank you. Take it away.
So as you know, the Orphan Product Extensions Now Accelerating Cures and Treatments Act, or OPEN Act, was introduced in the House of Representatives originally in February of this year, and provisions of the OPEN Act are included in the House Energy and Commerce Committee's 21st Century Cures Initiative legislation. Senator Hatch has a long history of championing rare diseases, specifically with his work on the Orphan Drug Act, which has led to numerous life-saving technologies. It's the legacy issue for him, one about which he cares deeply personally. We recognized in looking at the OPEN Act that this has great potential to harness the considerable scientific knowledge on drugs that already exists with drug companies, and the benefits of providing an incentive for those companies to then study those drugs and the potential impact for rare disease patients. We feel that it really can do a lot towards allowing for faster, less expensive, and less risky drugs and treatments being available for the rare disease population. So we were happy to join with Senator Klobuchar here in the Senate in introducing the OPEN Act in May. Part of our aim in introducing the legislation as a standalone bill in the Senate is to raise its profile and give us a good platform for from which we can promote these provisions as part of a Senate exercise going on, a parallel exercise to the work being done in the House on 21st Century Cures. We don't have quite as catchy a name. The report that came out at the beginning of our initiative was called the Innovation for Healthier Americans report, so we're kind of using that working title right now. But we're also aiming to improve innovation and processes at NIH and FDA to lead to better development of therapies and healthier Americans. As we are at this point, we are moving at a different pace, as was mentioned earlier, than the House. We started the process this year, and we have an aim to consider many of the same topics, but in some cases different approaches to the same topics. But at this stage, the Senate Health Committee, Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, is broken into working groups, diving into different topics, different areas within this scope of this initiative. We introduced, Senator Klobuchar's office and our office introduced this legislation so that we could better promote the OPEN Act and these provisions focused around repurposing drugs for the treatment of rare diseases as part of this working group effort in the Senate. And now, frankly, is a really opportune time for those of you who are advocating for this and would like to engage to connect with Senate staff and senators both. We are in discussions on the staff level right now, looking at the merits of different legislative provisions that are existing as bills or even that are simply ideas and concepts out there. But if you could connect with those staff and senators in your states or with whom you have a relationship, now is a great time to show them that the OPEN Act provisions and the 6-month exclusivity that's granted for drugs that receive that new indication for rare disease really will make an impact, really will move the needle, and will lead to better treatments being available for the rare disease population. We're digging in depth, looking at language, getting into the weeds, and people need to know that this matters. People need to know that this is something that's looked for and valued and should be as a part of the Senate package. I'm happy to connect you with individual staff in different offices if that would be helpful, but I'm just grateful for your willingness to help promote what I think is good legislation that will benefit many lives.
Wow, thank you for that, Matt. That was great. Right now I'm going to open up the line for questions. So if you have any questions about the Open Act in the Senate, its pathways, and anything about it, feel free to ask Matt a question now or use the chat function or the Q&A function, and I can relay those questions to Matt.
Matt, I definitely have a question about this.
Okay. Go ahead.
This is Candace Lerman. I'm from Florida. I'm a rare disease patient, and I actually have formed a friendship with Congressman Bilirakis and his staff, and they introduced the Open Act in the House. In December, I used a chemotherapy drug off-label to treat my rare disease, and it put me in a remission. So this act is extremely important to me because I'm living proof that that this will work, and this can do amazing things for the rare community. I connected really well with the staff because I'm almost 29, so I'm close in age with a lot of people. So I would be very interested in getting involved as much as possible on the Senate side and talking to people, because I feel like when you discuss things with people and you're kind of the same age group, and you can connect in a certain way to inspire a movement a lot more than just reading a letter from somebody and not really knowing who they are and what they're about.
Well, that's great to hear, and I think, yes, you could be a powerful advocate for this. And I think you don't have to limit yourself to meeting with those who represent Florida in the Senate. I would encourage you to connect, you and others on the call here, to connect with any members of the Senate Help Committee and let them know that this is timely and this is applies to their initiative for innovation for healthier Americans, and that you know that this will inform their discussions that are ongoing right now.
Awesome. Thanks for that question, Candace. Are there any other questions out on the line? All right, hearing none, I want to thank Matthew Richardson for calling in today and sharing this crucial information about Open and how we can get involved. So thank you, Matthew, for your time, and I look forward to engaging with you throughout the process and seeing Open make its way through the Senate.
Yeah, that's the aim. Very good to be with you all today. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Matt. All right. Next on the line, we have Laura Koontz from the Ovarian Cancer National Alliance. She's going to be talking about her sign-on letter. Laura, are you on the line?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you, Andy, for inviting me and giving me a couple minutes to talk to you about this on the phone, and thanks to all of you for your attention as well. So I wanted to talk briefly with you about a sign-on opportunity that's closing tomorrow at noon. Just to back up a little bit and give you a little bit of background, during the Affordable Care Act negotiations in 2008, there was an amendment added that stated that employer-sponsored wellness programs could incentivize employees to participate up to 30% the cost of the individual health care plan. So, you know, if your employer pays $6,000 for your health insurance, then to get employees to participate in this wellness program, employers could offer an incentive or a penalty of up to, say, $1,800 to get employees to participate. And so these wellness programs, you know, typically will have a health risk assessment portion, which asks people a number of questions about their health status. Some of them ask people to meet certain biometric markers. You get measured, you get your cholesterol checked, those kinds of things. But the bill, the Affordable Care Act and the regulations governing this piece, this wellness program piece, also said that they had to comply with all other federal non-discrimination statutes. So the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act say very clearly in their regulations that with respect to wellness programs, if you want to get employees to divulge information related to a disability or information related to family history or a genetic condition, that those questions have to be voluntary, and you cannot peg any sort of financial inducement to that. There's been a lot of pushback from the business community on the wellness program community on how do you design one of these health risk assessments or wellness program if you can't ask certain questions. And so they've put a lot of pressure on the EEOC and the White House to change the rules essentially to allow for these wellness programs to ask for that kind of information and tie it to a financial incentive to participate. So unfortunately, the EEOC has just put out a proposed rule that would do just that with respect to the Americans with Disability Act. So the rules, or the proposed rule states that they would classify any program as being voluntary if it only penalizes or incentivizes employees up to 30% the value of their health care program to participate. So that is to say that, employers can ask for this type of information and tie it to an incentive, and that's perfectly legitimate and legal under the Americans with Disabilities Act. We are very concerned at the Ovarian Cancer National Alliance and within the sort of broad, genetic disease community that redefining voluntary in this way would force individuals to turn over sensitive information that they don't necessarily want their employers to have. We all know that it's pretty hard for employees to prove cases of employment discrimination, and so having the ability to keep your personal medical and genetic information private is really critical. So we have a letter which I believe Andy may have sent around that just expresses our opposition to the rule and asks the EEOC to maintain its prior definition of what voluntary with respect to a wellness program means. And what we believe voluntary means is just that you can't tie financial incentives to participate into these programs if you're requesting information that should be protected under civil rights statutes. So the EEOC the comment period closes on Friday, and we're trying to close out the letter by midday tomorrow and get it ready for submission. So I'm happy to answer any questions now on the phone or via email or afterwards as well. So happy to take any questions you guys might have.
Thank you very much, Laura. Laura, can we share your email with the attendees on the webinar?
Oh, absolutely. It's L. Koontz, K-O-O-N-T-Z, @ ovariancancer.org. Okay, I will send that around right now. And can they contact you if they want to sign on to the letter? Yep, absolutely. I'm your point of contact for signing on and any questions as well. And so just to give you a sense, right now we have 56 organizations signed on representing, large diseases with hereditary components, a number of rare diseases, some healthcare practitioners, including genetic counselors and internal medicine folks. So it's a broad-ranging letter, and we hope to just have a lot of support and hopefully can encourage EEOC to keep its prior definitions of what voluntary is.
Awesome. So thank you very much. Right now I'm going to open up the line to any questions out there, and I'm going to send out Laura's email address to you all. So if there's any questions on the line, feel free to speak up and ask them. All right, seeing as there's no questions on the line, thank you very much again for your presentation, Laura. If you want to sign on to this letter, I've sent you guys Laura's email address through the chat function, and that should pop up for you guys. So if you have any questions whatsoever about the sign-on letter, you can email her, and I'm going to post it after the meeting to rareadvocates.org. So thank you for speaking with us today, Laura. We really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. So right now I'm going to give you guys a little information about what's happening over at RDLA. We've got a lot of great summer opportunities for you guys to engage with your members of Congress. As you know, members of Congress will return home to their districts to connect with constituents. This is called summer recess, and it happens every year for about a month. And we think this is the perfect opportunity for rare disease advocates to meet with their members of Congress, to build relationships if you haven't been able to travel to D.C. or join one of our lobby days. So your members of Congress are coming back to their home districts, and we want you to meet with them and tell them about the important legislation, like the Open Act in the Senate and like the Cures Act, which will hopefully be passed in the House by then. Registration is now open, and you can go to rareadvocates.org and click on the in-district lobby days, and that'll take you right to registration. The webinar dates we have are July 8th and August 5th. These webinars are to prepare you for your meetings with your legislators and, really learn about the bills and really prepare you to talk to your legislator. And these events are all free, so feel free to sign up and get started with us. This is a really great event that we're really excited for. So to add to in-district lobby days, we've organized 2 regional legislative conferences coming up this summer. So these conferences are region-based. We have one on the West Coast in California at University San Francisco, Mission Bay, and that's on July 31st. We have another regional legislative conference a little bit earlier in the month at Rutgers Medical University, and that's in Newark, New Jersey. So this time we're going to try to bring RDLA to you guys, and these are the first of our regional conferences, and so we're really excited. As you can see, we have some partners. We're throwing this with Rare New Jersey and Rutgers School of Health-Related Professions. Here are our sponsors, Hinge, Raptor, Alexion, Shire, and Amgen. So like I said, you can go to rareadvocates.org/Northeast Conference to register. For our West Coast advocates, we're having our regional legislative conference on Friday, July 31st at University of California, San Francisco, Mission Bay. This is a brand new building, a brand new hospital, and I must say it's really stunning, and it's a beautiful hospital. So we're really excited to throw the event there. And we want to thank Raptor Pharmaceutical for sponsoring that event, as well as UCSF Medical Center at Mission Bay. So to register for this event, you'll go to rareadvocates.org/West Coast Conference. So these are all these are for in-district lobby days, and this is a really crucial time, as you heard of some of the issues presented earlier on the call. This is a really crucial time for advocacy. Each one of us can make a difference by sharing our stories with our elected officials and really making sure they're on the same page in reference to 21st century cures. At the end of the year, we like to, award all the people that really work hard for the rare disease community. You can nominate them now if someone has worked extra hard on something and you want them to be recognized. We have the Rare Voice Awards Gala, so that's November 4th at Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. This is a fabulous event for rare disease advocates. And nominations are now open, so if there's someone you want to nominate, feel free. All right. And our next meeting is going to be a webinar to help prepare advocates for in-district lobby days. We're going to give some updates on 21st Century Cures. Hopefully, we're going to tell you it's past the Senate or past the House and on to the Senate. So to sign up for that, you'll go to rareadvocates.org/monthly meeting. Right now, I'm going to open up the line for any additional questions or comments any advocates want to make. So feel free to pick up the phone and add your voice.
This is Max. Is Jenny Carey on the line? Can you hear us?
I'm here. Hi, Max. Yes.
So Jenny heads Federal Relations over at the California Life Science Association, and she wanted to say a few words about the Fda Sos Act, which is a piece of legislation we've been supportive of here at the EveryLife Foundation, and we've certainly had on these calls before. So Jenny, it would be great to get a quick update from you.
Sure, Max. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. So some of you may recall I presented to the group here back in March on this legislation. It's H.R. 1078. It's called the Fda Safety over Sequestration Act. Basically what it does is it protects the FDA's user fee program from being sequestered. As you may recall, back in fiscal year 2013, when sequestration was in effect, that's exactly what happened. About $85 million in FDA's user fees were sequestered. They were locked away over at the Department of Treasury, and FDA was not able to access those dollars at that time. As you may know, user fees are provided by industry. They're paid to the FDA when they submit an application for a new drug, biologic, medical device, and the like, as well as for generic products similarly. And FDA uses those resources in order to conduct its review activities. It pays for their staff, it pays for their time to actually, help speed up the review of those products and make sure that they get to patients safely, effectively, and swiftly. $85 million, for example, in sequestered user fees was a major problem for the agency because they came on top of the appropriated dollars to the agency that were also sequestered. So at a time when later this year we're expecting that sequestration very well could come back, it's critically important that Congress act to protect FDA from having its user fees sequestered again. The good news for you is that H.R. 1078 was included as part of the 21st Century Cures Initiative. We are really, really grateful to the bipartisan leadership of the committee and of the initiative for including this provision in the bill. However, given the timing for not only passage of the Cures Initiative, which we do expect will happen later this summer, it's unlikely that the overall package will be enacted and made into law by September, which is really when the threat of sequestration will come back. And so it's really important that this legislation be advanced and signed into law well in advance of the end of the current fiscal year, before FY16. So we are circulating, we have led, and there are probably about 25 patient groups already who have lent their support in an endorsement of H.R. 1078, and we are planning to use that with the bill co-sponsors to let them know, again, that they have so much support, not only from industry and the people who are paying the user fees, but also from the patient groups who realize the value of these user fees in supporting the FDA's critical public health mission. So I just wanted to flag for you that letter is in progress. It's still open. Again, probably about 25 co-signers right now of that letter, and don't want to put them on the spot, but I know that EveryLife Foundation is supportive and hope that we can work with RDLA and their network of advocacy groups to circulate that again for your signatures. I'd also add that a similar effort last Congress had the support of over 150 patient advocacy groups. So I'm hopeful that we can get that same level of support and commitment from you all this time, and share that with the bill co-sponsors so that they can, help encourage House and Senate leadership to bring this bill up and enact it before the user fee program may be sequestered again.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for that, Penny. For folks who want to take action, should they just email you? Is that the best way?
Yeah, they can absolutely email me. My email address is jcarey, C-A-R-E-Y, and that's at califesciences.org.
Great. Thank you so much. We just messaged that out to everyone in the
Great. Thank you.
Yep. No problem.
All right. Are there any other issues? The line is open right now, so if you have an issue and want to tell the advocacy community about it, please let us know. Or email me at arussell@everylifefoundation.org, and I can add it to the agenda for the next meeting. So right now I want to thank everybody for calling in and listening in and watching the webinar today. We really appreciate your participation and engagement, because that's really key, especially right now. So if at any point you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll be putting this webinar on rareadvocates.org/monthly-meeting, where you can watch it. I've recorded it. So again, if you have any questions, feel free. Thank you for being on the call today. I look forward to speaking with you guys next month.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.